Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar series of ISTA. I'm welcoming you today out of the new ISTA office here in Wallisellen. It's one of the first days we are all back in office since the pandemic, which is very exciting for us to be all together in the new office. I've got two guests today with me. And we want to talk about the ISTA Technical Committees and the work, how they're organized and things like that. It is with me today, Eddie Golchak from South Africa, who is also still chair of the Bulking and Sampling Committee for a very long time. Hello, Eddie.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm honored to be here. I'm looking forward to this webinar.
And I've got a younger person who is also in one of our committees, which is Eduardo Vincenti, and he's from the Forestry and Shrub Committee. Hello, Eduardo.
Hello, Andreas. Thank you for inviting me. And yes, I'm ready to start, let's say.
We are missing Nadine Ettel, who unfortunately is ill and still at home. COVID is not 100% over. I think a lot of people are getting it now. And she didn't get it in the office because she was ill before we rejoined to come back to the office. Yeah, let's start with this nice webinar on the work of technical committees. And maybe Eddie, as a long experienced member of a technical committee, could you tell us a little bit on how committees are organized and how do they work? How do they operate?
Okay, before I tell you that, I'm first going just to give a little bit of background, if you don't mind. So the ISTA rules that must be followed by ISTA accredited laboratories to sample and test seed for the issuing of orange and blue international certificates cover a wide range of subjects. The rules are divided into 19 different chapters, each covering a specific subject. As these subjects are very diverse, ISTA has constituted standing committees known as technical committees, or TCOMs for short. And they are responsible for one or more of the subjects, each of those TCOMs. So the principal objective of ISTA Technical Committees is to develop, standardize and validate methods for sampling and testing of seed quality using the best scientific knowledge available. So there are currently 17 TCOMs and one board, that is for the editorial board for the journal, and 3 advisory groups. So a TCOM consists of a chair, a vice chair, and usually a maximum of 13 members, but that may be extended if needed. The members of the TCOM are all volunteers and experts in one or more of the fields covered by that TCOM. We try as far as possible to get representation from all regions of the world and of the different types of crops that we deal with. At the BSC, the Bulking and Sampling Committee, we are fortunate to have members from almost all the continents of the world, including some islands, if you regard New Zealand and the Philippines as islands. To become a member of a TCOM, the current members of that TCOM would evaluate the applications of the candidate members and vote on their inclusion. TCOM members usually serve for 3 years on the TCOM, starting at the conclusion of the ISTA Congress, which is held every 3 years, and end at the conclusion of the next Congress. However, should a vacancy occur during a triennium, a new member could fill that vacancy until the end of that triennium. TCOM members could continue to serve on the TCOM for many more 3-year terms. as long as they remain active and an asset to that TCOM. Before the Congress, the 15 members of the TCOM would elect a chair and a vice chair for the next triennium from their members and nominate them to the ECOM for approval. I'm sure everybody knows the ECOM is the executive committee, the governing body of, well, appointed by the members to look after the affairs of the association. Okay, if no members from the TCOM are available to serve as a chair or a vice chair, the ECOM would then appoint someone in that position. You can find all this information in the document called The Responsibilities of ISTA Technical Committees, which you can download from the ISTA website from the Technical Committee Documents page. Before every triennium, the TCOMs have to determine on what projects they are going to work on during the upcoming triennium, the so-called program of work. This would include activities such as development of new rules, changes to existing rules, publications such as handbooks, presenting training workshops, development of tools, special projects that would lead to any of what I've just mentioned, and so on. This program of work is then submitted to the ECOM for approval, and any changes to the approved program of work during the trial must also be approved by the ECOM. The program of work is also published on the ISTA website on the documents page of that TCOM. Most of the activities of a TCOM are usually done by working groups within the committee, usually experts or specialists in the topic that the working group is working on. It may also include non-members. Discussion by all members on rule change proposals, new methods, and so forth are usually done by email correspondence. This is then finalized by voting by the TCOM members, and if approved within the committee, it will then be submitted as a proposal to the Rules Committee. And it is the chair's responsibility to coordinate and guide the activities of the working groups and the committee in general. So every year, every TCOM must submit an activity report to the ECOM, indicating the progress made on the activities indicated on the program of work. This report is also published in the Seed Testing International, as well as on the ISTA website on the documents page of the respective TCOM. Every year at the ISTA annual meeting, the chair of the TCOM will also give a report to the ISTA membership present at the annual meeting on what the TCOM has done the previous year, what they are working on currently, and what are they planning to do. Okay, I hope I answered your question adequately.
Yeah, mostly there's one open point maybe, which is training and workshops.
Yes, we do that as well. Well, at the BSE, that is one of the things that we were quite active in before, well, before COVID. I think I personally have presented sampling and seed sampling and quality assurance in seed sampling workshops in during the well, since 2001 I've been a member of, and I think we presented about 14 sampling workshops on all continents of the world, in every continent. So, of course, sampling workshops is a very important part of a TCOM or training workshops. With it, and because it is also held in different regions of the world, then it is more people in that region, it's easier for them to attend those workshops. And we use that not only to tell what is in the rules itself, but also to standardize it throughout the world so that all the ISTA members would do the activities in the same way, so to speak. So standardization, that's very
Yeah, that's a very important part also of the technical committees is training and workshop organizing. Unfortunately, as you said, during the pandemic, it was not that much. We did a few workshops on quality assurance, which were done online. There was a seed health training the last month for 2 days as well. But we are hoping to get back pretty soon to a position where we can have physical workshops again, and looking forward to that and give the opportunity of training to everybody. Just maybe as a short reminder, you may pose questions in the question and answering box, and I will probably answer these questions as good as I can, or forward it a little later to our panelists here.
well. Speaking of workshops, Mr. Chair, if I may use this opportunity to advertise, so to speak, the BSc is planning to have a sampling workshop, seed sampling, and quality assurance in seed sampling with focus on automatic sampling next month, end of May. So the registrations would open soon. You can already find it on the ISTA website. So we sorry for the short notice for this workshop, but we will be able to accommodate 25 participants there. So those who would like to attend the first in-person workshop since COVID started, please register as soon as possible. We're also going to have another workshop in Turkey. So this previous workshop, the one in April, is in Denmark, in Odense. The next one will be in Turkey in September, first week of September, but the announcement is still being prepared, and we post it as soon as we're done with that.
Coming back to the technical committees and their members, what is expected from a member, Eddie?
Well, they have to actively participate in and or coordinate at least one working group or project within the committee. But all of them must take part in all discussions and voting, even though it may be outside their area of expertise, in which case they could abstain, but abstain is also counted. So if you don't want to vote yes or no, then you have to abstain and not just not answer. So to be regarded as active, a member must participate in no less than 75% of the discussions and the voting. Members that are not sufficiently active could be asked to step down from the committee at the end of the triennium. So even though not compulsory, as far as possible, TCOM members must try to attend all committee meetings, whether virtual or in person. The BSc has been very fortunate that we always had a big turnout of our members in our in-person meetings. That was before COVID. Not only those that we have in conjunction with the ISTA annual meetings, the open and the closed meetings, but also at special meetings that we organized at other times. I beg your pardon. So this demonstrated not only the commitment of the members, but also how important to their employers regarded the work of the ISTA and of specifically the bulking and sampling committee in our case, because the employers allow their employees to attend such meeting, And of course, it could be expensive as well, so they also carry the cost involved with that. In my opinion, such committee meetings are very important for team building and cohesion within a committee, and this contributed a great deal towards the BSC's good work over the years.
You mentioned a very important point, Eddie, which is the area of expertise. So that is what the committee looks on as well for their members, that all areas of expertise needed are covered by an expert inside the committee.
Yes. Yeah, not every member is an expert on all the fields because most committees cover a wide range of areas or topics. So it's good to have a specialist in every field that we have in the committee.
I've got another question for you, Eddie, which is we talked a lot about a lot of things in the past years when we met, but I'm very curious on how did you become a chair of the Barking and Sampling Committee? And maybe we should add that you will be stepping down to vice chair in the next triennium as a part of making space for a new person to take over responsibility. So it's a change of leadership in the committee, which you will still be participating as the vice chair and can give advices to the new chair. But how did you become the chair of the committee?
Okay, I think this is more or less the same story in most of the technical committees. My story was close to the end of the 2010-2030 triennium. Lina Gutierrez was then our chair of the BSC, but she indicated that she will not be available to continue as chair, but she will stay on the committee for the next triennium. Our vice chair at that stage was Max Subu. He also indicated that he is going to retire and step down completely from the BSC. So that left the BSC with vacancies for both the chair and the vice chair for the upcoming triennium. So nobody from the BSC volunteered for any of the two positions. So as I've mentioned, this happens in most committees. I was already an active member of the BSC since 2001 at Angers, and was asked if I would consider to take up the position as chair. Now, well, I don't know if I was the first person that they asked or the last resort, the only one remaining, but nonetheless, since I enjoyed taking part as a member in the important work of the BSC and not wanting to see the BSC leaderless, I then decided to consider it. I realized to some extent what this commitment would entail, so I consulted with my employer, the South African National Seed Organization, or SANSOF for short. And after I received their approval and support, I then agreed to be nominated. So since there were no other nominations, the BSC members then voted on whether they would approve of my chairmanship, and they voted in favor of it, and then proposed me as chair to the ECOM, which was then also approved by the ECOM. So fortunately for me, Lina agreed to take up the position as vice chair, since nobody else volunteered. So I had guidance and assistance during the first few years, helped me especially a lot. And I would like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to Lina. So it would have been much more difficult because usually what is supposed to happen, the vice chair would become the chair. But to become directly a chair without experience of what the work entails could be a bit daunting. So I was very fortunate to have Lina to guide me through that. So I would also like to thank my employer, Sansel, for supporting me and allowing me to spend so much time on ISTA activities. So I hope that answered your question.
That answered my question, and it was not that a big surprise. As you mentioned, it is very often happening that you have to look into the committee and find a person who is willing to step up. The chair is also responsible contact point, we have to mention, for the accreditation and technical department when they have audits and questions during the audit arise. For instance, on your side, is this automatic sampler following all the requirements of ISTA or not? And that also counts for other departments where questions may, or other groups, technical committees where other questions are coming up. And the technical committees then give advice to the accreditation and technical department. So you're also playing a kind of a role inside the accreditation work, which is done by ISTA as well. Now let us introduce our young colleague here, Eduardo. Maybe you can say a few words as well, and let us know what your personal experience as a technical committee member is.
Yes, thank you. Look, I am in the committee of forest, tree, and shrub, and which is, I mean, tree seeds are very diverse, so it's a very challenging committee because we have so many different species and we have to take into account many different aspects. So it's from my opinion, it's very challenging, but I like it very much because we are a group which is very varied. You know, we have people from Brazil, from Canada, from Europe, from India, and each one of us works with seed, but of course, being tree seeds so diverse, we have very different experiences. And to put it that way, actually the COVID, from my perspective, helped us a little bit because of COVID, we had started to do video meeting, like similar to what we are doing now, you know, but without guests. Which was very nice because, as Eddie already said, you know, usually we do everything by email. So there are proposal, blah blah blah. Then everybody says gives his or her own opinion. But then when you really see each other, it's so much nicer, and you really have you know, you really feel that you all are together. You know, it feels a little bit like a small community. So it's very good, and I actually take the opportunity to actually ask, you know, between our attendees, if anyone is interested, because we are very keen as a committee to expand our area, because we miss people from Africa and we miss someone from Australia, and we only have Chandra, who is from India, but we don't have many others people from Asia. And I think we really need that, you know, because it's always nice to have a different perspective. Each one of us coming from different countries, different work experience, have different perspective, which gives us a better and a larger picture of what we are actually doing, because most of the time we spend that time in the lab, we just speak with our colleagues, we go home, and it's like it looks like, you know, we are in a very small environment. But with this membership, with this committee, we are not. We can really ask advice to people who are on the other side of the planet, but still have our same routine, our same experiences. So it's challenging, but it's very rewarding at the same time. So please, guys, join us, send us email, ask us questions, because we are always very happy to answer. As I told you before, you know, trees are very diverse. I had myself, for instance, I started to write an email to the chair of the forest committee, because having the ISTA rules in mind, I had a couple of doubts, and I was not sure, you know, I was doing a germination test and I was not sure if one seedling was normal or abnormal. So I dropped an email to the chair, and then everything started. You know, everybody's very welcoming. They're all very happy to help us, to put you at ease. So please join us more. We need you.
What benefits do you see as a member of the technical committee? Benefits in your experience in your work life?
Yes, as I already mentioned, you know, on an everyday working life, when you have issues which you are not so sure about, you can always send an email, make a phone call to one of the other members, and they can help you, you know, with answers. I am a little bit younger than you, so most of the others, they have more experience. So it's good to get some of the wisdom. And so for me, you know, it's good, because we are all busy in our everyday life. So sometimes we ask colleagues, but they're all busy with other stuff. But just send an email, and we have an answer from I don't know, from Canada, which they know they deal with your problem in the past. So it's very easy, and they really save your day sometimes. And this is one point. The second point is the open-mindedness, because you really have different perspective. I already said that, but this open-mindedness really help in your research. It's undoubtful. It's very important. And also, as I told you, when we do have meetings, we really do care about each other a little bit, and we do propose a new project that we are excited about, and we new ideas. So everybody sometimes has new ideas, and say, oh, what about these new ideas? Would it be a good ideas? So we will give our opinion, and it's always nice, guys, that we don't feel lonely. We feel that we have somebody to back up us. So this is a good benefit, another good benefit. And then on a personal level, I'm not vice chair. I'm just a personal member of the forest group, but I am lucky enough that I do attend the OECD meeting for the forest and plant seed scheme, which is again another wonderful opportunity to speak with your peers, to really see laws and regulations discussed and put into place, which is exciting. And you really see the changes. So every year there are some amendments, and it's getting better and better. I joined the forest committee in 2016. I do this OECD meeting. It's a couple of years, and so we do this meeting twice a year. And every time the rules and the scheme is getting better and better, because we all give our self opinion. So we feel useful as well. So which is an added bonus of benefit. I think that's more or less that's everything. Yeah. Oh yes, just a minor things for labs who don't, for members who don't have you know, full access to the ISTA rules. you can yourself, if you are a member yourself, you can have access to the ISTA rules, which in your everyday seed testing routine sometimes is helpful. You know, you just go there, you check, you have a doubt, you go there, you check the rule, making sure that you're doing correct. So it's an added bonus, because of course not every lab has access. For instance, from my experience, usually each lab have one or two manual and book, you know, but if you are a member, you can have access, and it's another added bonus, which is good. That's it, I guess, for
You
now.
are a younger member of the committees, and you know that Young at ISTA is one of our topics in the short past and in the near future and in the following future as well. What would you advise young people concerning technical committees?
Yes, and this was something, you know, when I joined ISTA, I was a little bit, oh God, you know what, I don't know if I fit, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, you don't have to be scared, because yes, we dress well, we try to dress with jacket, with ties, but we all have fun, trust me, because it's we all are human beings, and we all have a lot of fun. We joke a lot within ourselves. So, and you learn a lot, because of course we are a bit younger, so we take advantage of the experience and the wisdom of the less young. So and everybody's very welcoming, and everybody's you know, it's put you at ease. So don't be scared, don't be afraid, even if you don't feel, you know, expert enough. Risk, drop an email, ask, be part of the ISTA group, because it's really a lot learning experience, and especially for us, which we are less experienced, it's really it's very, very nice. I will, if you want, I will leave now in the chat my email. If anybody wants to ask me some question, if anybody has any doubts, please do it. I'm more than welcome to help you and to put you in touch with other members. If you feel, oh no, this guy maybe it's a little bit younger, he will understand me more, drop me an email. But everybody is a big family with a weird passion. We all like seeds, but we all try to respect each other, and we are again, I didn't expect this, but all the meetings are very funny. We all really have fun. We laugh, we smile, and we exchange experiences, and it's very, very rewarding.
Okay, there was one question. Do you have to be an ISTA member to be member of the technical committee? No, you don't have to be an ISTA member. Also, your lab doesn't need to be an ISTA member, or your university. It is one point which we mentioned before, Eddie, that you have to fit with your area of expertise into the committee, and that's a very important point. And the question, if you provide funds to do projects, there is a certain funding for projects itself. That has to go via the chairs, and then to the ECOM. There is a certain project fund, but there is not a lot of benefits to attend technical committee meetings. So there's no funding for that. There's an annual funding for the committees, which they can use and support people to come to the annual meeting, but that money has to be split. If you are a younger person, like Eduardo or others, you might also apply for funds under the Young at ISTA funding, also to take part in ISTA meetings or in the Seed Symposium, which is going to be held in Athens on November 2 to 4. which is also announced on the ISTA website. There was one question, Eduardo, which I will pass over to you, which is a more technical question, and that
Yes.
that is probably important. Maybe, Eddie, you can drop us a few words on how to join a committee, what you have to do, and what criteria are there.
Well, to become a member, you have to apply. So on the ISTA website, you'll find the application form that you have to complete. On that application form, you have to complete all the fields and give some indication of what you would like to do in the committee, also what your areas of expertise is. So there's one standard application form for all committees, except one, I think. I think CDF committee has a different one. But you complete the application form and then send it together with your CV and photographs to the ISTA Secretariat to Andrea and to the chair of that specific technical committee that you want to join. So the CV is also very important because the technical committee members would then look at the application and look at the areas of expertise and experience of the applicant, and then they will decide according to that whether or not that applicant, the candidate, would be suitable member, prospective member of the TCOM, that specific TCOM. And then the TCOM would then vote within the TCOM on whether or not they should allow that applicant to become a member. So if you have more than one applicant, then they would compare the expertise of the different applications between the applications. So while we're on this subject, at the BSc, we'll have 2 vacancies at the end of this triennium. So if anybody would like to join the BSc, you're welcome to submit your applications as soon as possible, because we would like to finalize the committee for the next triennium as soon as possible.
I think
I've covered everything.
Yeah, I think that is covered properly, and yeah, I can only tell as well that there are a lot of committees which are looking for new members as well, especially at the end of the triennium, because some are going to retire, as you mentioned, Eddie, and they are leaving the committee. So feel free to join the committee. There are a few committees where you cannot apply for membership. One is the editorial board of SST. You are asked there to become a member. The same is for the SSAG, the Seed Science Advisory Group. Or if you look at the Proficiency Test Committee, there the chairs of the committee are a member in their own right. And Proficiency Test Committee, for instance, is also coming together in a different way with all the PT leaders of the different proficiency tests which are running. But for all these more technical groups, you can apply and can become a member. If you are not chosen to become a member, it could be that this area of expertise which you are representing is covered by a number of other members, and the committee is looking actually for another area of expertise which they are missing in their committee. It's often not a personal thing. It is more a thing of the knowledge which is missing inside the committee. We have to say. Yeah, well, that's what Eddie.
Sorry to butt in. I could also mention that the Rules Committee, you can't apply for that. All the chairs of the various committees is the ex officio members of the Rules Committee. So when you chair of a technical committee, you automatically also serve on the Rules Committee. Thank you.
Yeah, and if you are not chosen as a committee member, there's a lot of work done inside the committees, and there are working groups. And if there are working groups on your special area of expertise, you may be welcome to work in these working groups as well. I'm not sure if every committee has got a working group or working groups, but a number of the committees which supply information to the ISTA rules, they have working groups which are working on special topics. Contact the secretariat or contact also the chairs of the committees, and they will be happy to assist you. Maybe it was also in Young at ISTA, there are also committees which try to train new people who want to come onto the committee. There's an offer from the nomenclature committee, which is also looking for members. And the chair of the committee is happy to train people also in the area of nomenclature to become a member of their committee. If there's another question, if we have expertise in a few areas, can we apply for more than one technical committee? You could, but when it's not that often that people are member of more than one committee. That could be the case. Let's say, for instance, in the tetrazolium committee, there are members of different horizontal committees, like on flower seed or on from tree and shrub side. There's a member of the tree and shrub committee, also a member of the tetrazolium, but that is to bring this special expertise of this special area into the committee and to have someone who can report back to the horizontal committee of forestry and shrub, because forestry and shrub doesn't have their own chapter also in the ISTA rules, like flower seeds or whatever. They are a little bit more horizontal committees which are dealing with the specialities, but also are part of the general committees on, let's say, germination, tetrazolium, bulking and sampling, and so on. I don't see any more questions coming up which we did not answer. Therefore, I thank both of you for your time, not only here for this webinar, but also for your work inside the committees, where I would also like to join all the colleagues in the committees. May they be members of the committees, or may they be members of working groups in the committees or in other areas who support ISTA on a voluntary base. I personally thank you, and on behalf of the association.
Thank you, Andreas.
Here's another question, maybe to Eddie, a quick one. What is the minimum technical experience required?
Well, it depends on the TCOM, I think, for sampling. Well, it's not only experience, it's also, well, that's a difficult question, actually. How do you rate experience compared to expertise? So you can be a sampler for 20 years and still not be an expert, or you can be a sampler for 1 year and already be an expert. It depends on how you apply yourself. So that would soon, Well, when we look at an application, we'll see what type of experience the person had, not only in sampling, but because we also in training and quality assurance as well. If especially we're looking for people that would train trainers of samplers within their laboratory or country, and maybe on the quality assurance side, it's also good to have that type of experience. For the BSc, we had a lot of members from seed certification. At one time, I think we had about 5 heads of seed certification authorities or NDAs in different countries at one time as members of the BSc. So seed certification, of course, we work closely with OECD as well. And that's also things that we have to consider for our rule changes and sampling procedures and so on. So, yeah, I don't think I answered the question. Like I said, it's difficult to put a number of years to experience. It's more about expertise, I think.
And as we mentioned, there are committees which are looking also for more people who are willing to participate and willing to learn, like the nomenclature committee, where you can get training in special areas and get your expertise also, as you mentioned, Eduardo, on the committee in that case. There's a special thanks also in the chat box from our president, Steve Jones. And with that, I would like to close the meeting and the webinar. You will find this webinar again during the next days on the ISTA YouTube channel, and you can have a look at it again. And it will be our pleasure to invite you to an upcoming webinar, which will be with our incoming president on the strategy and the upcoming triennium and the work which we are anticipating to be new and challenging for the next 3 years. Thank you very much again, and have a good day, evening, morning, or whatever, wherever you are in the world. There's a lot of thank yous coming in, and also a congratulation to the website, which I pass on to Johanna and the team of ISTA who prepared all these type of things over a long time. Thank you very much, and enjoy the day. Have a good time. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.